Hello and welcome to today's Kingdom Talk with Dr. Kwebanwo. As usual, this is my daily talk where we share ideas and talk about how to live better in the kingdom. Yesterday at my talk, we were talking about a very important topic: how to practice your faith on the street level. And then we didn't finish that discussion yesterday. We were talking about, we had been covering what is faith, how do you practice your faith, and stuff like that. And we had talked, and I think I had mentioned that I do not believe that faith is an emotion, that faith is not an emotion. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is not something you say or profess. Faith is something that you do. So, and we took that further, and then we started talking about the I think yesterday we talked about Peter, and we talk about faith on the street level using Peter as a case study. That faith is actually a risky business. So that's really part two that we discussed yesterday of this series on faith. On this faith is a risky business. And in that, we cover several things. I'm going to quickly go over them. We talk about that. Don't get it twisted. Faith is an action word. Faith is something that you do. Faith is not something that you talk about. And faith has many angles to it. We talked about all of that yesterday. This is a recap of yesterday. So, and we talked about works in the Bible yesterday. There are many unforgettable works. I use that as a preface to start the discussion on Peter walking on water. We talked about how Peter, the story of Peter in the boat with the other disciples, and there was a storm, and then Jesus started coming down, walking on water. And then Peter saw him along with the other disciples, but Peter, as impetuous as he always is, he sees the moment, and he said, God, Jesus, if it is you, let me come and join you on the water. And he did, and we all read about how a human being started walking on water, but at some point he saw the wind and started sinking. We went through all of that yesterday. I wanted to complete that part of the discussion yesterday that we did finish. We talk about what are the practical things we learned from the experience of Peter walking on water. We talked about how his walking on water showed that people of faith learn to recognize God's presence, and I explained what that is in yesterday's training. We also learned that it showed that people of real faith discern between faith and foolishness. Because many times what we do that we call faith is nothing but foolishness. I also gave examples of that yesterday. I don't want to preach the whole of yesterday's discussion, just giving you a rundown of what we discussed yesterday. We also learned that people of faith prove their faith by getting out of the boat. Your faith is useless to you if you are not practicing it. That's why Paul said, show me your faith, then I will show me your works, then I will see your faith. But you can't say you have faith when you are not doing what requires faith, when you are not activating that faith on the street. We talk about that. We also explain how faith, the boat, is safe, secure, and comfy in life, but out there is a storm. And as a person of faith, at some point, you have to make a decision. Do I stay in the boat? Do I stay with what is comfortable? Or do I get in the water? And I concluded, I think yesterday, by saying, if you want to walk on water, you must get out of the boat. You can't walk on water when you are sitting in the boat, obviously. And I went at length into all of that and explaining, breaking it down, that faith is risky business. If you want to walk on water, you must get out of the boat. So we talk about what then is your boat preventing you from doing exploits. That's where I started rounding down yesterday, and where I'm going to pick it up again today. So we talked about all of that. What is your boat? So today we want to start, go to other things that we learned from Peter. We talked about three of them yesterday. We are going to go through the other three today, or the other four, by starting with people of faith should expect problems. We learned that from Peter, that people of faith should learn to expect problems as they are doing their work. Peter got up that day. Remember in the story, Peter got up, climbed over the boat side. The disciples watched as Peter stepped out of the boat. They saw him let go of the boat. Of course, obviously, to get in the water, you have to let go of the boat. They saw him start walking on that water towards Jesus. And then Peter saw the wind. And he must have been asking himself, what exactly am I thinking? What happened? What was I doing? What am I doing here on the boat? And then, of course, the minute he started thinking about the problems, the minute he started thinking about why he should not be on the boat, why he should not be walking on water, he started sinking. Like when therefore we talked about that extensively yesterday. Peter saw the wind. He must have started asking himself. He must have started realizing that, oh, I'm in the middle of the storm on the river with no boat under my feet. And the minute he started contemplating that, down he went. We talked about the implications of that and how we got to that yesterday. Your boat is whatever keeps you comfortable in your present situation. Okay, your boat, we talked a lot about all of this. I didn't want to preach what we talked about yesterday. I want to go to something more profound today, or take it to another level today. The people of faith should learn to experience. Let me put that back up right there. All right. They should expect problems. Your boat, again, in case you don't get it, you haven't watched yesterday's. Good to see you, Douglas from Kenya, and those of you joining me live. I know that this didn't come in at the scheduled time, but I'm glad that you are coming in right now anyway. Your boat is whatever keeps you comfortable in your present state of underachievement. We talk about that. Your boat is whatever pulls you away from the high adventure of a kingdom lifestyle, because kingdom lifestyle is a life of adventure, because you are constantly pushing the envelope. You are constantly trying new things. You are constantly going for great stuff, because you know you have the Holy Spirit, because you know you are a citizen of the kingdom and nothing should be impossible for you. Your boat is whatever prevents you from taking a risk and joining Jesus on the high waves. We talk about that extensively. But how do you identify your boat? Because some of you, even with all the explanations I gave yesterday, you probably are still asking, but how do I really understand my boat? We're going to talk about that for a second. The first thing you have to do to identify your boat is what is, remember, your boat is what is keeping you from living a life of success. Your boat is what is keeping you from maximizing your potential. Your boat is what is keeping you from going for that vision that God gave you. But how do you identify it? Number one, you got to examine your fear. What is it that produces fear? You got to ask yourself this. What is this that produces fear in me when I think, every time I think of stepping out in faith to do something good for my life, for my career, for my family, for God? You have to ask yourself, is it a relationship? Maybe you are thinking, okay, if I let go of this relationship that I'm in, how will I get another one? You have to basically examine your fear. Or maybe it's your job. Maybe you're asking yourself, how will I pay my bills if I leave this job? Maybe you're paralyzed. You cannot go to the next level because you are busy thinking what will happen, even though you have this burning vision. Just like a Bill Gates must have had when he had a vision for him to go do this Windows thing that ended up changing the world. I'm sure at the time he was about to step out from his boat of comfort. He was probably asking himself, if I let go of my school at Harvard, what am I going to eat? For some of us, it's your job. You are afraid of losing your job. You're saying, how will I pay my bills? For some of you, it is your ego. Now, what if I did it and fail? Will people laugh at me? Will people say, look at that boy, he has failed? That is how you begin to discover what your boat is. What is it that is limiting you? Examine the things you are afraid of. The worst scenarios that the devil has convinced you will happen when you step out in faith. That is your boat. That thing that you are afraid of, that is your boat. I was in that boat for several years on the issue of whether I want to do something that has to do with ministry online. I was thinking people would laugh at me. They would say, this guy, man that used to pastor a big church one time, now is this what he's reduced to? This man that is not been doing church for a long time, how can he say he can preach again? This man that is lifestyle, that some of us, we know him, his lifestyle is not as good as that of what should be a pastor. Would they not laugh at me? Would they not make fun of me? I was in that boat for years, maybe 3 years, before I finally say, forget that, screw that. Worst case they will do is they will laugh at me now. There's the worst that will happen. Worst is that I will fall on my face and this thing will not work. And I went for it. Here we are. 29,000 followers on Facebook at the Cyber Embassy. Go look at our Facebook page. I have people sending me inboxes now telling me how much they are blessed by my teachings. God has sent me even pastors, apostles from different ministries to help with the vision so that they also can actualize their own vision. Because as I started to manifest this internet thing, lots of people are encouraged to manifest also. And I encourage all the pastors that God has sent to me, do your own ministry online. Start a program first, if you like, under the Cyber Embassy. Run it every day, every week, all you want. We will give you all the support. We will even promote some of it for you. If your program is good, I will spend money promoting it so that more people can watch your program. Or you can go start your own ministry. I don't care. It don't matter how many ministries we start online. But do something. Now, as they're coming, lots of people are getting excited. People are coming up with programs that they have thought they will not do. But that would not have happened if I had not faced my fear. The fear is still always there. Every once in a while, you get somebody challenge, you get somebody say stuff to you, and you're asking yourself, why am I even doing this? You are afraid. You are wondering, will this thing work? What if these people that are supporting the program, what if they go away? And I'm realizing that, no, those are all fears. I got to get out of my boat. I have to walk on this water. Some churches have been in existence for 5-10 years. They don't have 29,000 followers on Facebook, even when they run adverts. We have 29,000 in less than a month. Maybe 300-400 workers. But the point is, it happened because I examined my fear. And I realized that it's fear of failure that was keeping me. And the minute I crossed that, I was gone. I realized that it was my ego. Just in case I fail. So I fail. I failed at many things. So what is going to happen? That's what I told myself. People will ridicule me. I'm like, okay, what if they ridicule me? They don't pay my bills. They don't feed me. They are not my God. So what does it matter? That's how I was able to deal with my fear. What about you? You have to be brutal with yourself. You have to examine your fear. What is limiting you from going for that great vision God has given you? Whatever it is. Some of you have been walking around with some massive, massive, massive vision that God gave you 20 years ago, 10 years ago, that could literally change the world if only you will get out of your boat and walk on that water, because walking on water appears to be an impossibility. But Peter did it. And in your own case, that will be the equivalent for you to go out there and do the impossible. You have to master your fear. Jesus was clear. He who is not ready to forsake everything and follow me is not fit for my kingdom. Remember, I didn't say he's not fit to come to heaven. He said it's not fit for my kingdom. Heaven is part of his kingdom, but this earth is a big part of it also. He's establishing a kingdom that he expects people to do great things, to make this world a better place, even before they come to heaven. And he said, if you're not ready to risk everything, if you're not ready to put it on the line, you are not even fit to be a kingdom citizen. So you have to master it. You don't have a choice. If you are within the sound of my voice, you don't have a choice. You have to understand that the storm should not have come as a surprise to Peter. The storm was there all along. But inasmuch as he kept his eyes on Jesus Christ as his compass, as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus as his author and finisher of his faith. He was walking on water. As long as he focused on what Jesus was saying, what Jesus was about, he walked on that water until he saw extraneous stuff, until he got distracted by the impossibilities, until he started looking at his own shortcomings, until he started looking at his own limitations. I remember myself for several months, I was afraid to do a webinar. I keep saying people will not buy because of my accent, or I was afraid to sell stuff online. I only wanted to talk to Nigerians because those are the ones that can understand me. Meanwhile, most of them don't have the dollar to pay me $5,000, $3,000 that I wanted. I was afraid to promote to the American crowd because I'm thinking, oh, they're not going to understand me. But the first set of people that bought my $5,000 programs were people who were not in Africa. This term has always been there. My accent has always been there. It's not going away. I need to stop looking at that. The minute I started making for sales with my software, I realized that it don't matter. But every time I stop back and look at what are the things that can make me fail, then my sales drop. But when I go out there and promote anyway, I hope you guys, somebody is getting a revelation right now as you are watching this. All the problems that you are thinking about that has not drawn you back, you have started having some success. You have started working on water. Then all of a sudden you're overthinking it. And then you start to go down. Problem came when Peter's focus shifted from the Savior and the Holy Spirit guiding him on the storm to his problems. Good to see you, Eric. And if you are watching us now, please help us share the links of this presentation to wherever your friends who can benefit, because Kingdom Talk is about lifting you up. I'm not coming here every day to come and say, come and accept Jesus. That will come in his own time. Only Christ can call you when he's ready. But first, I want you to get the fullness of the kingdom. Be transformed, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're Hinduist. Listen to this, and I'm sure you can benefit for yourself. Then the Holy Spirit himself will now be the one discussing with you as to the issue of whether you want to give your life to Christ or not. You must know the good things in the kingdom. And this is what the Kingdom Talk is all about. Does not mean that I don't want to start preaching about Jesus for you to give your life. But my own point is, before you can start saying somebody should join an association or somebody should leave what they are doing that they think is good for them to pick up another thing, give them a lot of value that they can see in going to that place. That is why I'm big on empowering, on sharing the kingdom message in a non-threatening way first. When you see all of that, then you don't even need to be convinced to say, okay, let me go look for this Jesus. Maybe he can help me too. I hope somebody gets a revelation. So the question is, how do we let ourselves see the wings? I want to go over that. How many of us unknowingly we allow ourselves to see the winds and then we start falling. You have great idea, great vision. There's something huge that you want to do. Take, for instance, maybe you start a job. You get involved in a ministry. You start a company. You start a new relationship. And you're full of excitement. You're full of hope. You're full of joy. You're full of motivation. Then suddenly, reality sets in. You say, how can I get this kind of job? I'm not good enough to run this type of job. Or this man is too good for me. Somebody else is going to steal him from me tomorrow. Or this girl is too beautiful for me. Why am I wasting my time with her? Somebody else is going to take her from me. You start looking at the problems. You start looking at your opposition. I remember one of my friends, I don't know whether they even call him protege. Let's call him an associate. Because really, all he did was got my program and we talked for a few weeks. So indirectly, I can say it's my protege. This gentleman had a software that he created. And then he was very excited. He contacted me and we started talking about how I'm going to help him launch it. I was even going to be the joint venture partner to help him launch it. He was really excited. He's a Nigerian guy. He has seen what other people have been doing through my training and mentoring. And then a couple of weeks before we launch his product, I'm just probably listening to me now and smiling because it's big now, but I'm using his story. I don't want to mention name. Okay. So 2 weeks before his product was to be released, another big time guru released a similar product. All of a sudden, this guy saw the wind. He's afraid now that I can't put my own out there. My own is not good enough because that man is the number one in the market. How can I now launch a product when the man has launched? The next thing I know, I was trying to encourage him that it don't matter. Even some of those who buy that man's product will still buy your own because that's how these things work on the JVZoo scene. I personally have bought a product 3 times before without even knowing. Because you buy this stuff, most of the time when people buy your product, they never use it. They tell themselves they're going to use it. I mean, I just contacted, for instance, somebody that I paid $1,000, $997, almost $1,000 in Dublin in July last year. I bought his product at a conference. But as I'm talking to you now, I've not even logged in one day into that product to even say, what does it do for me? Until I saw his training somewhere again, training on the same thing on the webinar. I'm like, wow, maybe I really should go try this thing now. I just sent him a message this morning, like 20 minutes ago, because I don't even know how I'm going to access the product. That, I bought this, your product, $997 in Dublin in July. Can you please see if you can help me find my login details? That is a $1,000 product. In fact, at that conference, I bought 4 different products of $1,000 each, $997. I think I only logged into one of them. The other 3, that's $3,000 just spent. I didn't do anything with it. Where am I going is that I'm not alone. A lot of people buy stuff that they never use. Ask yourself, all the books that you have bought, how many did you ever read? Be honest. Less than 20%. Same way goes for product. So I told this guy, say, forget all of that. A lot of people who bought that guy's product will not even open it. They will still come and buy your own. Let's go and launch anyway. But he saw the wind, he sank. He ran away. I didn't hear from him for almost a year. He more or less put his career on hold. Eventually, he still launched that product 1 year after. And guess what? That product did over $100,000. And that product has been best product of the day on JVZoo now for at least 6 or 7 times. I have never even had a 6-time product of the day on JVZoo. The best I ever got for any product was 3. He has gotten 6. So sometimes we see the win and we don't take action. Now he has confidence in himself. He's gone to so many other platforms now that even I have not been. He's the one sharing one with me recently. And I was laughing. But now he knows. See, sometimes we let what could go wrong. We let the difficulties stop us from going ahead. And when you start seeing obstacles, you are going to start sinking. So maybe that's what's happening to you. That's how you let yourself see the win, because you keep thinking about what could go wrong too much. And I am not just teaching you this and telling you I've mastered it. This is something we have to guard against every day. I myself have canceled so many launches because of fear that if I launch it, maybe it will not sell. In fact, I have one coming up on the 19th, 5 days from today, because it was delayed in getting the product ready. I'm thinking right now maybe I should postpone it, but that one is not really out of fear, but because I really have not been able to get my affiliates to review it. After all, if you want somebody to promote your product, you have to give it to them for them to promote it and all that. But my point is, I could have decided to go for it anyway 2 weeks ago and just keep going. But I didn't trust the guys who deliver the product that it will be ready. And it is ready now, unfortunately. But my point is, I am not immune. We have to keep asking ourselves every day. You have to keep fighting against that fear of failure. Because if I go ahead anyway, what will have happened? The worst case that will happen is people won't buy. And I think I'm just going to go ahead on the 19th anyway. Maybe enough people won't buy. But you are already out there. Then you keep battling it. If it is $1 you sell, that's $1 extra in your pocket. You can't keep running. That I have to remind myself, me, that I'm teaching it. So nobody really gets to master this fully. You just have to be alert to it. And you have to keep reminding yourself, let people hold you accountable, be reminding you that no, you cannot be looking at ways to fail. Your boat is whatever keeps you comfortable in your present state of underachievement. I keep liking to repeat this. I love repeating myself because the more I repeat, the more some of you will get it because you don't hear it the first time. So don't worry about me repeating myself. As a teacher, I know that now, that you have to repeat things over and over before people get it into their spirits. The first time you had, it didn't really register. Second time you had, maybe. By the third time, okay, registered. By the fourth time, you are thinking about it. By the fifth time, you are starting to understand. It is by the seventh time, really, that you hear something that actually quickens your spirit most times. So please bear with me if I'm repeating myself. It is for your own good. I'm not just here to just pump you of too much information and you're not getting any. So I like to repeat the key parts again. Your boat is whatever keeps you comfortable in your present state of underachievement. When you hear a Christian telling me that I'm content with the $100 a month I'm making, then you know that person is relying on that as a boat. I don't have a problem with being content, but you should be content with maximizing the talent God has given you. The story of the talent because sometimes we misunderstand what the Bible says when it says be content at all times. God cannot give you capacity to release 100 books. Then you release 2 and you say you are content. You have no right to be content underachieving with the talent God has given you. That's where I'm going. Yeah, you should be content, but you should be content in the knowledge that you have maximized the skills that God gave you. If you have not yet maximized what you know you can do, you have no right to settle down for contentment. Say, I said so. Because God is going to judge you by how you maximize the product, the talents He gave you, not about whether you are happy after doing only one. The parable of the talent again. Your boat is whatever keeps you comfortable in your state of underachievement. Your boat is whatever pulls you away from the adventure of the kingdom lifestyle. Kingdom lifestyle is the lifestyle of you going to be fruitful, multiply, replenish, and dominate whatever area you choose to have yourself. I always like to explain that. Fruitfulness does not necessarily mean go and have children. Fruitfulness means have an idea. That is the kingdom mandate now. Have an idea. Come up with a vision. Then multiply it. See how you can make it to be applicable to so many people. That's multiplication. Replenish means source of distribution. You have to figure out how to distribute that seed that you have now multiplied into a product and how to make sure it goes all over the world. And when you replenish, that is, you control the means of distribution, then you become a dominant force player. It is a very simple thing. That's the definition. That is the technology for becoming a monopoly. Have a great idea, a seed, multiply it. That is, you plant it. You cannot plant one and get one back. When you plant one, you get hundreds, but you plant that is turn it to a product, a mass product. And then figure out how to replenish it, to distribute it, to sell it to anybody who's willing to buy, make it easy for you to restock whatever it is. And when you get to that, you get to the domination level. That's the mandate. Your boat is whatever is pulling you away from living that. Maybe you have a product. Your next level is to multiply it, and that's where you're stuck. You're not doing anything with it. You're looking at it. It's a beautiful seed, but you refuse to plant it. Remember, that's the series we are going through on Sunday. Okay? And then even some of you have planted. It has become a product several people have bought. Now you need to multiply, and you need to now replenish it. Which means, remember, replenish means they buy, you give more means of distributing it and getting people to buy. That's how you get to living the dominant lifestyle. But today is not the day of teaching about that. So how do you identify your boat? Examine your fear. We talked about that. What is it that keeps me stepping out in faith? You have to ask yourself that question. Is your boat a relationship? Some of it is. Oh, how will I find another one if I leave this one? It may not even be necessarily man and woman relationship. It might be mentor and protege relationship. It might be partnership relationship, where you're relying on somebody to be the one that will make things happen for you. And the person is really misbehaving, but you're afraid that if you leave that person and go get another relationship, maybe it will not work. Maybe it will not be as good. That's how some of us keep useless employees, because yeah, they might be good, but they're not optimizing themselves for us, and we're afraid that if we let them go, we'll get new ones. Or that's how some of us get stuck in a bad job. Relationship. How will I find another one if I leave this loser? And then you stay in that relationship of an abusive relationship where they beat you every day you wake up, where there's no joy in that relationship, where really you are not getting satisfaction in that relationship, but you're asking yourself, how will I get another one? So you stay there and endure. God did not create you to endure. He created you to dominate. He created you to fly. You need to get out of that boat. For some of you, is it your job? Again, you are miserable at your job. When you start hearing somebody getting excited about Friday, then you know that's somebody who is not having, how will I put it? Who is not having fulfillment at his job. Eric says having network problems. Okay, it's being recorded on the Facebook page. You can always go get there. The Cyber Embassy is our page on Facebook. The recorded live broadcasts are always there. For those of you who might miss that, is your boat your job? You are paralyzed from going for your dreams because you are asking, how will I pay my bills if I let this job go? Because that little job that you got is what is helping you pay your bills, but you have bigger vision that require you to leave that job. It's different if your vision can also be actualized in that context. It's like people working for me, whatever vision you have, you can actualize it within the context of your job, because I encourage that. All you need to do is say, I want to do this. But some of you are in a position where maybe your employer prevents you from doing any other job, or prevents you from even spending time on anything else but the job. And yet you have a bigger vision that you know can fulfill your purpose in life, but you're afraid to lose it. So you're saying, how will I pay my bills? How will I feed myself? But God that is giving you that vision, where you push it and you push it hard enough, He will make the provision. You are an ambassador. No country sends an ambassador to a country, to another country to represent them without giving them the means. They provide accommodation, they provide food, they provide everything, and you are an ambassador of Christ, which means if you are rolling in your assignment as an ambassador, Christ has no choice. You don't even have to pray for it. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You don't have to pray for it. The resources will come. Because if you are representing Christ well, when you are still having to pray before you eat, or find before you get stuff to execute what you need, you are not a true kingdom ambassador. You are not following Christ the way He wanted you to. Same way, if I send a staff to go and represent me in another country, is representing the company. The staff will not need to be worrying, how will I eat? He's an ambassador. We have to take care of it. America cannot send an ambassador to Nigeria and the ambassador is in Nigeria looking for how he's going to eat. That's their job. But you are paralyzed because you are afraid of losing that job, which means you don't want to actualize what God has put inside of you because you are scared of that salary you're going to get at the end of the month. You need to face your boat. You need to face your fear, guys. You're not going to die, particularly if you are young, if you are still under 40. What do you have to lose? Worst case, you are going to fail. Failure is overrated. I can tell you that for free. I've been bankrupt 2 times in my life. Once in Nigeria, unofficially here in the US, I filed bankruptcy. 2003. I thought the war was going to end. I lost everything from the year before. My turnover was $3.8 million in 2002. I had $3.8 million in sales. True story. By 2003 ending, I was declaring bankruptcy, lost everything, and I had to start from zero. But the war didn't end, did it? Failure is overrated. You fail, you get up, and you kick butt again. Excuse my language. That is the way to think. That's the way I think now. I'm not afraid of failure in anything. Worst case, it will not work. So you pick up another one tomorrow. And nobody, unless I'm telling you now, even people who knew me, none of them remembered my bankruptcy year 17 years ago. They don't care. Those who are knowing me now, even if they hear I just told you, does that make you think less of me now? In fact, you admire me more because I had that failure and I overcame it. That's the way you should think. So if you have to let that job go, if the job cannot accommodate, I'm not saying be stupid. Remember, you must separate fear from foolishness, faith from foolishness. Like we explained yesterday. If you missed yesterday's video, please go watch it. I'm not asking you to be foolish, but I'm saying you got to be bold. If your job will not allow you to get to where I've had students who have told me they want to do this, but I work till 6 p.m. By the time I get in the older before I get to my house, it's 10 p.m. I have to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning again, so I really don't have time to spend 2-3 hours watching a video a day. And they gave up on their vision. When if they had done that for maybe 2 or 3 months, they could be making times 4, times 5 what they are making at their job now. Even forget the money. They will probably be more fulfilled. I've met somebody whose job it is, he really, really, really wants to train people. He wants to learn how to be a speaker. And maybe when he speaks, he's going to transform lives. Everything is not money. But the resource, the time to go do that versus his job will not allow it. So he gave up. Is both your ego? For many of us, it's our ego. You're asking yourself, what if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if this thing don't work? How will I look? How will I be able to face people? I filed bankruptcy and I still face people and the world did not end. In fact, they are still scared of me. It's the way you carry yourself. Okay, so I filed bankruptcy. So, big deal. What have you ever done in your life? When people, because most people who criticize are guys who have never done anything anyway. They are very happy to see you go down because they are always down. I mean, imagine somebody who has been stuck in the same job for 20 years. Yes, he's making more money, he's making a lot of money, but he's an employee. If he doesn't get up at 6 a.m. in the morning to get to his work, he's going to get fired. Now, trying to tell me that I need deliverance because I'm always starting business and some of them are not working. I'm like, the life I've led, you cannot live it in 20. You are reserving your happiness until you are 65 and retire. You leave for work at 6 a.m. in the morning. You don't get back to your wife until 10 p.m. How dare you talk to me about being a failure? I have traveled to the world in 1 year. Yes, I did it. My business didn't work that time. But the kind of life I've lived everything I want to do. That's the way you position yourself. You don't let your ego get in the way. You got to recalibrate it. So what if you went for that dream and it failed? You won't be the first and you won't be the last. A lot of people have failed. A lot of people will fail after you. But at least you will have done something. That's the way you position yourself. Because sometimes we worry too much about what those who don't care about us think. Our ego, we are ashamed for people who don't even care about us anyway. What does it matter? I mean, when I was in Nigeria, I'm talking in the early 90s, I was one of those yuppie boys. But by 1993 or 94, so I lost everything. My finance company collapsed. Then they arrest me today, arresting people that I owe money. They put me in jail overnight many times. I go in there, they lock me up. You have to find the money for this. I don't have the money. The money is in Forum or somewhere. But nobody cared. I got to a point from having 5 cars to where I had no more, not one. Even the last one was stolen. I had one 505 left. Somebody stole it. And I was now embarrassed to go out. The only way to go out is to go and join public transport, take a Danfo or Molue. They call it in my country, the Molue or Danfo. So every time I want to go out, my people will be telling me, don't go out. My family say, your friends can see you. And then me too, I'll be ashamed. I don't want to go out because I don't want my friends to see me. But these friends don't care about me. They're not giving me money to feed my family. So if I have a meeting I have to go to and I have no car, I better get in the taxi or get in a bus. And that's what I did. Many of us worry too much. Your business failed and you can't come out of your house anymore because you are thinking of what your neighbors are thinking. Your neighbors that are still looking for a job, or your neighbor that is working for somebody that is abusing him every day, or your neighbor that you are feeding. Sometimes we're even afraid, we're even ashamed for people that we give money to see that we are struggling. I mean, how retarded is that? Sorry, bad word. I've been cautioned about that. Excuse me, I didn't mean. I mean, how stupid is that? I hope I can use that one. You know, because sometimes you forget, people get sensitive to a lot of words, even though you don't mean it negatively. But it's also good for one to learn from that. So what I'm saying is that, how stupid can you be? You are embarrassed for somebody that is working for you, or somebody that used to dash money, to know that you are broke. How does that work? But that's how we were, particularly those of us from Africa. If you are listening to this, we worry so much about what people think of us that we tie down our destiny. So we stay in a boat. You have a meeting in another part of your state, but your car is broken down. But you don't want anybody to see you come down from a bus, if that's what you can afford. So you don't go. I mean, I've seen this happen so many times. But people don't care about you. It is the same kind of stupidity that makes somebody who is barely able to feed himself to go borrow money to do a wedding party. I tell people that. If people call me and say I need money for wedding, I don't give anymore. I mean, I did a very elaborate wedding because I didn't have knowledge then. I mean, I spent millions on my own wedding. But if I were to marry today, I will not do any stupid stuff like that. People have parents that they have not taken care of while they are alive. Then that father dies, then they go and start borrowing money to do a big burial because they want their friends to think well of them. Friends who don't even care about you. In fact, at that same party, that your wedding party or your burial party for your dad, many of them are gossiping behind you. They're telling you, can you imagine this man? Oh, he doesn't have a job. Oh, now he's going to call this big musician. Who is he deceiving? Those are the kind of talk people talk behind you. They know you are not well. They know you are not financially okay. So why are you trying to impress them? You go and borrow limousine to go to your wedding when you don't even have a car. Who are you trying to impress? The money is different. If your uncle gave you the limousine, I can understand that. Okay, you want to look good. It's your uncle's car. But why would you go borrow money to go borrow a limousine so that you can live good? Take your wife, get on Okada or whatever you need to do. Do what you have to do. I know I am spending too much time on this, but I'm spending time because that is what has held a lot of people down. Ego. You are trying to form beyond your level. So you can't do what you need to do to take you to that level where you are operating with Christ on the level of a kingdom citizen. Because you are worried about your ego. That could be your boat. What is your boat? You got to be asking yourself. You have to master your fear. You must master your fear. You must master your fear. Whatever it is that you're scared of, whatever it is that you're worried about, that is your boat. And until you get out of it and get on the waves, you are not doing no miracle in your personal life. You are not going to achieve the impossible. Jesus was clear. He who is not ready to forsake everything and follow me is not fit for my kingdom. Number 14, we learn from Peter, walking on water and then sinking, is people of faith will expect problems. Nobody ever promised you that once you start executing your faith, that everything will be all right. Whoever told you that is a liar. Whether it's to give your life to Christ or to live in Christ or whatever it is you want to do, you must expect problems, because if your faith start walking on the streets, problem will come. I mean, look at Peter. His people watched him. Jesus said, come, join me on the water. And he was happy, he was excited. He got out of the boat. He stepped into the water. He let go of the boat in confidence that my daddy is on the sea. Then he started walking. But the story didn't just end there. Problems came because he saw the wind. And then the minute you see the wind, and every once in a while, no matter how much faith you have, you are going to see the wind. People are going to make you see the wind. The wind is going to come at you. So you should expect it, that the wind will come. After all, the storm is always there. Peter should have known that the wind did not come as a surprise to him. The wind has always been there. We talked about this extensively yesterday, so I'm going to move on from that. I've repeated it a couple of times now. Hopefully some of you are getting it. So Peter's problem came when he shifted focus from the Savior to the storm, from the confidence he had to the storm. And he started sinking. People of faith accept fear as the price of growth. The minute you get it, because that fear will never go away. I just told you guys I've had at least 9 product launches myself, of which 5 have been runaway success. 6 have been runaway, so that is over $100,000 done in 5 days. 3 had not done so well. So I know, but why am I still afraid of my next launch? Fear will never go away. So you must accept it as the price of growth. So if you want to go to the next level, anytime you are thinking of going to the next level in anything, that fear will come. The choice will always be the choice to do the impossible or the choice to grow. That's always, when it comes to growth stuff, it's always the choice between doing the impossible thing or the difficult thing, or to grow. Or not doing it, rather, not doing the difficult things, or to grow, to do it and grow. The choice to grow is the price of constant fear. You must pay that price. That constant fear will always be there, but you know you want to grow, so you got to keep going. The decision to grow is the choice of risk versus comfort. And you, if you want to grow, you have to be careful. You have to decide, I'm going to do that. The truth is, for as long as you keep trying to improve, fear will never go away. For as long as you keep trying to improve, fear will never cease. So you have to embrace that fear. You have to do it in spite of being afraid. You will never stop being afraid. Don't let anybody tell you that. But you go anyway, despite that fear. Number 6, people of faith must master failure management. You must learn how to master your failure. That failure is not the end of life. Failure is just you learning of one way not to do something. Failure is not something that happens to us. Failure is the way we think about the outcome of that failure. It's just repositioning your mind the way you think about it. Rather than thinking it's over for you, you can never try it again. Think about it as you need to look for a new opportunity, a new way to do what you are doing. That gentleman, I think his name is Jonas Salk or whatever, the guy that discovered polio. When you read the story, the polio vaccine, the man failed over 200 times in experiments to find that polio vaccine cure. But when he was going to talk about it, he said he discovered 200 ways not to make the vaccine. See the difference? He didn't say I failed 200 times. He said I discovered 200 ways not to make the vaccine. That's a serious mind shift right there. Once you start seeing failure not as an end in itself, but another stepping stone to your success. So you're going to fail quickly and fail forward. That's what I tell my people. If you're going to fail, fail quickly, but always fail forward. Fall quickly, but fall forward. Don't fall backwards. Abraham Lincoln, how many elections did he lose before? The man did not even win the local government election in his state. He failed to be a congressman. He ran for Congress, failed. He ran for Senate, he failed. He ran for governor, he failed. He ran for several other positions, I think 6 or 7 of them, and kept losing. And then he ran for president and he won. The man that did not win Congress election, that did not win state election, that did not win senatorial election, went for presidency and won. And now is one of the most celebrated presidents that America has ever seen. The Wright brothers, who invented the airplane, they failed so many times that thing crashed. They almost died. When they were experimenting it, they would crash but they kept going for it. They realized every failure is a lesson in how not to do it. So they try another way. And that is the mindset you want to be if you really want to go to the next level. When Peter saw the wind, he began to sink. That's a fact. It's right there in the passage that we read. But did Peter really fail? We need to look at that. Did he really fail? Because when you look at what happened to Peter, let me go back to that for a second. When you look at what happened to him, it is very tempting to say Peter failed. But once you get it, that failure is not an event, but rather a judgment about an event. Then the whole thing start taking a whole different look. So you can say, oh, maybe Peter failed because, his faith was not strong enough, obviously. That's why he started sinking. His doubts were stronger than his faith at some point. So he started failing. He took his eyes off of Jesus and saw the wind, so he started failing. So he sank, he failed. You can say that if you are a pessimistic person. Peter may have failed, but there are other 11 bigger failures sitting in the boat with him. There are 12 disciples. He may have failed for trying, but there are bigger failures who are in the boat with him. You know why? Because they failed quietly. They failed out of omission. They failed privately. Their failure went unnoticed. After all, we are talking about Peter's own today. Their failure went unobserved. Their failure went uncriticized, so they can't even get better. They failed miserably, quietly. Do you know how many people have failed quietly in their lives because their dreams died with them? Their ambitions died with them. They refused to dare. And yet they are pointing at somebody who has dared and failed. They failed quietly. They failed privately. They failed unobserved. They failed uncriticized. They died inside. That is much worse. So Peter may have failed, but only Peter knew two things as well, people. Peter knew the glory of walking on water by making that move. Even if it is only for a short time, the man walked on water. So you can't really say it was a total failure. He did that because he dared. He walked his faith on the street. Only Peter knew what it meant to ride on the waves with Jesus. Only Peter knew what it meant to attempt the impossible. Only Peter knew the glory of being lifted up by Jesus in a desperate moment of need. Because when he cried, the Bible says Jesus Christ reached down and pulled him. Those who stayed in the boat never experienced any of that. Only Peter experienced the thrill of doing what no other human being other than Jesus has ever done. Before that time, at least. And I don't know, so you get it. Even if some of you might be started arguing with yourself, okay, the Israelites didn't walk on water. They walked in a parted water. Big difference. The Israelites, when they were going to enter Canaan, they didn't walk on water. The water separated at River Jordan. Peter was the only human being that walked on water that we know, other than Jesus. So you can't say Peter was a failure. Same way with you. Even when you dared and failed, you will have experienced the thrill of trying to do the impossible. The rest failed quietly. They went to their grave uncelebrated, uncommented about. At least even if you fail, people will still comment about that failure. Only Peter shared the moment with God, people. By your going for it, you will share a moment with God. Even if your faith ultimately failed at some point. What am I saying is that you got to take your faith to the streets, Faith is not a feeling. Faith is not a word that you, a mantra. Faith is not a Bible verse that you quote. Faith is something you do. Faith is not an emotion. Don't tell me how much your faith is strengthened because you listen to a sermon. That's your emotion that is strengthened. Your faith can only be strengthened when you take action based on what you have faith on. Because we in Christendom, again, like I said, it's like we don't think. The minute you give your life to Christ, like you stop thinking. It's like the thing, oh, you go to a night vigil, they pray for 12 hours and you say your faith is strengthened now. That means nothing. Your faith can only be strengthened by exercising it. And faith is not something you think. Faith is not an emotion. Faith is something you do. So if your faith is really stronger because you have gone to the vigil, vigil is not bad. Don't get me wrong, people. The vigil is for you to pray, to give you the confidence to go out there and take it. But it is the taking it that is the exercise of your faith. Not by believing because you prayed that your prayer has been answered. That is preparatory to your faith being exercised. I hope you don't confuse the two. So you got to ask yourself as I bring this down. Okay, I got only 3 more minutes. Are you going to prove your faith in God by going for that dream of yours, or are you going to die in the boat of underachievement? It is different if you have not been given the skills to be great. All of us cannot be great at the level that is observable by the world, but you can be great at your own area of assignment. Remember, we are all working together in God's vineyard. Some have a bigger role than others. That's why we have been bestowed with different gifts. That's why we're not the same height. That's why we're not the same intelligence. That's why we're not, because what you need to play your role is like a play. Look at the kingdom as we are watching a movie. Some are beat players. Some are the ones that will put makeup on the people that are going there to go play. Some are the people that will do the editing when the movie is done. Many of those you never see. But without them, the movie cannot be complete. The movie cannot achieve its purpose. So your role may be small, but every one of us, our role is critical in bringing the influence of the kingdom of heaven to bear on earth. As a kingdom citizen, whatever role God has given you, it does not matter how small it might be. It is critical because creation waits for the manifestation of the children of God. You have to manifest before other bigger names can manifest. I've shared this with you guys over and over again. That is a verse that keeps reverberating with me. If Ron Kenoly had not activated himself in that sermon, in that concert that he did, where that janitor gave his life and that janitor ended up becoming a pastor, that janitor would not have been able to be a pastor to the point that he's now leading other people to Christ. So the manifestation of Ron Kenoly led to the manifestation indirectly of thousands of people. That's what I'm talking about. Doing that little assignment that God has laid on your heart. You don't even know where it's going. Yeah, am I on the internet doing the cyber embassy, right? All internet church. Those who are still laughing at me are laughing, but I know what God is doing. It might be because of only one human being that God said, go start this internet church. Maybe this internet church will not even be here next year. I don't know. But the thing is, what God wants to do with it. I won't be the one stopping it because I'm doing it. So maybe somebody listening to me right now, maybe you listening to me, maybe it's you that God has set up to be somebody who have 100 million membership church yourself. Because you watched the Cyber Embassy for a few weeks, you got inspired, but you have been loaded with a lot more than maybe I was loaded with. To use this internet, and I still don't know how to use internet for promotions like that. Maybe you have great skills, or maybe you can learn, or maybe God has prepared other people to come and help you to make it where your church is not all over the world and everybody waits for you every 7 a.m. to hear what you have to say to them. I don't know. It could be the reason why this one was set up. This could be a forerunner. But if I didn't do it, that forerunner will not be able to manifest himself on time. Are you following me now? So you can't die in the boat of underachievement. You don't know how big your role is in the scheme of things because you don't know, you don't see God's mind. You don't know why God gave you that vision to go do it. The vision is always bigger than you. The whole creation waits for the manifestation. Thank you, Eric. He said this will be here for you. Definitely. because I'm going to be handing it over to people like you because you have the energy. I'm 56 years old. In another 1 or 2 years, God will get us somebody who will take this thing and take the whole world by storm. I believe it with all my soul. But even if that doesn't happen, I don't care. The important thing is that everybody that listens to me gets to go start fulfilling their own kingdom mandate. When I'm done, they start. Or they activate as I'm talking. Creation waits for the manifestation of the children of God. God is waiting for you to manifest in whatever little assignment He has given you in your own corner of the world. There's a reason you are born in Nairobi, Kenya, and not in New York. The day somebody broke it down for me, I'm like, wow, why did I even emigrate? Because if I had that knowledge then, I won't even leave Nigeria, no matter how bad it was. There's a reason why you are born in Nigeria. There's a reason why you are born on your street. Remember, God doesn't do anything by accident. There's something that needed to happen to you for you to be born there. There's something God is waiting for you to learn or to do or to achieve by being born where you are born. So you just got to be alert. You cannot die in the boat of underachievement. Whatever you do, know this. In case you are not yet, you don't get it yet, you need to know this. You need to know this, guys. Jesus is not in the boat. Cha, 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 cha. I hope you get a revelation right there. Jesus is not in the boat. Jesus is on the waves. In other words, Jesus is not where things are comfortable. When people are ignorant of really the word of, they say, when I have peace, when everything is quiet with me, that's when I know there's God there. No, God is in stretching your faith on the street, going to troubled areas and taking it over, taking challenges and overcoming it. You can't be an overcomer unless you take a challenge. Hello, somebody. You cannot have a big testimony unless you take a big test. That's why I laugh sometimes when people come up in church and say, God, give me a testimony that the whole world will stand up and listen. You are basically asking for great problems. You cannot have a great testimony unless you have a great problem. So when you are praying for great things to happen to you, you are indirectly praying for great bad stuff, great challenges rather. Great challenges to happen to you, because it's when you overcome the challenge that your testimony becomes big. You can't just get up and say, I have a great testimony and start testifying about what didn't happen now. You have to have overcome something. You can only have a big testimony of having conquered the lion after you have gone to fight a lion. So you cannot have a testimony saying, I overcame the lion, but you don't want to have the test of fighting the lion. I hope you get the revelation today. Jesus is not in the boat. He is on the waves. In other words, he is in the areas that are looking uncertain. He's in the troubled waters of this world. That is where he's expecting you to come, step out with him, walk on that water, and show the world that there is a King of Kings. You can't hide in your church on Sunday morning and tell me you have faith. Faith is exercised on the street. Faith is exercised in the waves. Faith is exercised in troubled waters. Jesus is not in that your comfortable boat. Be deceiving yourself. As much as you have potential and you are not maximizing that potential and you are comfortable, Jesus is not there. Jesus is all about profitability with the talents he has given you. The parable of the talent made that clear. Jesus is an investor. He has invested in you. He has invested that brain. He has invested that vision. He has invested it in you. Now he expects your result. And when you don't have one to show him on that day, they say he will test whatever you have done with fire. If it is rubbish that you have built on the foundation of Christ, it will be burnt up and you get no reward. You only get in by somebody who escaped through the fire. May that not be your portion. You got to start flowing today. Nobody has told you how long you are going to live. That is up to God. Why you still have breath in you, you got to praise God with your talent. And when I say praise God with your talent, I'm not just talking praise and worship. Praise God by doing great things. So here's the prayer point. 3 of them for you today. Prayer point number 1. I want you to pray wherever you are right now. Again, this is church, guys. Pray for grace to tune in with the Holy Spirit to recognize when God is moving on the waves around you. Open up your mouth and pray wherever you are right now. The Father, give me the grace to be in tune with the Holy Spirit so that I can recognize when God is moving in the problems around me, in the waves around me, when God wants me to do something great about the problems in my situation, in my city, in my nation. Open up your mouth and pray where you are, guys. That is the type of prayer I'm very violent about. I can pray it all night. Because when you are in tune with your spirit, because the Holy Spirit is always trying to communicate with you. When there are great opportunities to do great things, Holy Spirit is trying to tell you, but many times we don't hear. We are too busy eating rice and we are too busy rushing. We are too busy trying to go surf Facebook. We don't hear the Holy Spirit. So you need the prayer. So open up your mouth and pray that prayer point right now. Pray for grace to be in tune with the Holy Spirit so that you can recognize when God is moving in a situation around you. I was talking to a musician yesterday about a situation that was very hot in Nigeria. And I'm like, they've been talking about this thing for 2 months, and I'm surprised as a musician you have not done a song about this. Are you stupid? This is an opportunity. This is a wave. Everybody is talking about it. Imagine if you go into the studio and bring out a song that addresses that situation. Everybody will be interested in that song. You can even get them to download it free so that they get to know you. You build a list with that. You can get 1 million downloads if you had done this song last month. He's doing it now is why I don't want to announce the situation. But I finally told him, I said, what is wrong with you? That is God in the waves right there. I remember when Dr. Miles Monroe, my mentor, passed. Dr. Miles Monroe had his sermons on ClickBank, of all places. Most people don't even know what ClickBank is. They think ClickBank is a place where internet marketers go and sell. But I didn't tell him to do it. I wasn't that smart then with internet to tell him to have done that. Somebody else told him to do that. And he had it. It's called the Treasury of Miles Monroe or something on ClickBank. When the man died, I'm one of his disciples. The man is really my direct mentor. If you want to say I have any mentor in Christianity, because for 2 years, I traveled the world with him. He's the one that ordained me the world apostle. Even in the middle of crying, I just saw one email from somebody talking about Dr. Miles passing in a plane crash. Now you get an opportunity to get access to all the trainings he ever did for one low price of $299. There's something click in my brain that what am I doing here? This is a wave right here to get this man to all the world, to everybody who is crying about him. While at the same time, I'm putting money in my pocket. In a space of, I think, about 10 days, about a week after Dr. Miles Monroe died, I think I made about $6,000 selling his products. I just went to ClickBank. I didn't need permission of his church. They're already selling it there. I signed up. So I was getting 50% of every sale that I made. So wherever everybody is discussing Dr. Miles Monroe, I put it there. He was a great man who brought us the kingdom message. You can get access to over 200 kingdom messages by clicking this button. It was like fire. Are you hearing me, guys? I saw the opportunity. You might say, oh, I'm an opportunist. The man was already dead. He's not going to wake up. He's my father. Okay? And I want everybody to also know about him. So I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I was able to get hundreds of people. I think I make 102 sales of 87 or something. But a lot, to the point where my own commission was about $6,200. So I must have sold about $12,000 worth of his sermons. It's still on ClickBank. I don't know if they've removed it now. But my point is that at that point in time, when everybody was talking about Dr. Miles Monroe, the man was hot. Everybody wanted to hear about his sermons. Some guy out there, I didn't start it. I received the mail too. I'm like, wow, what an opportunity. What am I trying to tell you? When everybody is screaming around you, there's an opportunity. That's why this prayer point is important, for God to let you know when he's moving, when an opportunity around you is arising, and how you can use it to do great things. Prayer point number 2, I'm going to give you 2 prayer points. There we go. Pray for courage to discipline, to have discipline to step out of your comfortable existence and realize your destiny. Okay, courage and discipline. Where is it now? I think there's a typo there, but you get it. Pray for courage and discipline. Because sometimes we have the courage, but we don't have the discipline to go for it. So you have to ask for both together. The courage and the discipline to step out of your comfortable existence. Okay, you got to pray for yourself. Don't pray for somebody else. You pray your own. Okay, pray for courage and discipline to step out of your comfortable existence to go and realize your destiny. Because your destiny is awaiting, but you have to take it by force. You have to go out there and execute. And finally, the top prayer point, wherever you are listening to this, pray for grace to master your fears and put your faith to work on the street. You simply say, Father, give me the grace to master my fears and put my faith to work. Pray it where you're listening to me right now. Father, give me the grace to master my fears and to put my faith to work. In the mighty name of Jesus, pray. You don't need anybody to lay hands on you. You can pray for yourself right now. Pray. Father, I need the grace. I'm praying it for myself now to master my fears, because even at my level, I see have plenty of fears holding me down. Father, help me. Give me the grace to master my fears so that I can put my faith to work on the street level, so that my faith can work for me on Monday morning, so that my faith can work for me on Tuesday, so that my faith can work for me on Wednesday. That is what the prayer I need you to pray right now. Working your faith on the street level. Part 3 is what we just finished. I don't want to cause confusion for those of you watching this. We just finished part 3. We are going to continue this on the next Kingdom Talk. Typically, we don't do Kingdom Talk over the weekend, but depending on how I'm feeling it, that's the beauty of internet. I can wake up and decide I want to preach. All right. When I'm done preaching, at least it's going to be there. Somebody might be listening to this 1 year from now. Somebody's going to listen to the recorded version. You still influence people for a very long time. Once it's on the internet, your faith needs to work for you on the street. I look forward to seeing you. Before I go, I just want to acknowledge all of those of you who are on here. I appreciate you for coming in and listening to this, whether you are watching it live as I am now, or you are watching a recorded version. I want you to go to the Cyber Embassy group to go join us on our Facebook group, so that I can send you. Okay, we have a special gift that I give to people who come to the church, or people who watch some of the services of the church. Okay, so please go to our Facebook group, join that private Facebook group. It's a private group. Is facebook.com/groups/the Cyber Embassy. And of course, we also wanted to go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/the Cyber Embassy, to like our page. We have 29,000 followers now. Please go follow us there so that you can get access to my daily Kingdom Talk, and at the same time be able to live better as a kingdom citizen, because my teachings transcend church. My teachings transcend your typical church experience. Is a total lifestyle. This is Dr. Kwebanwu, and it's my pleasure to have been of service today. May the Lord himself continue to guide you as you try to get out of your boat to begin to do great things. And I'm out.